sitting here behind me on the trailer is our brand new EastonMade 1222. So we're gonna get this thing unloaded. We're gonna run over the features and stuff on this thing real quick and then give a quick demonstration of it. So guys, here it is, the EastonMade 1222 in all its glory. This is actually EastonMade's flagship model. This is what started the whole thing with EastonMade. And I feel so blessed to be able to have a machine like this. Now I know our EastonMade 916 that you've seen on the channel before has been a great machine. I didn't have any problems with it, but I just wanted a few features that are on this machine that my 916 didn't have. So let me take you through and show you what those are. So one is this box wedge. Now this one right here is actually the 5-way, so I've got 4 splits as it comes off the bottom, and then your top split that you will retract basically and resplit that one piece. This is more thinking along the lines of where we burn boiler wood, and I can get good consistent, you know, square cuts pretty much with this and have the same sizes no matter what size the piece of wood is that goes on here. The stuff that comes out the bottom, that split, is going to be the same size every time. Also, I really wanted to have the auto cycle, not because I necessarily need it, but I don't know, maybe I could say I need it because, you know, I work by myself 99% of the time. So it's kind of like having another person to help you out, because you can hit your auto cycle while it's splitting the piece of wood. You can run over and grab another piece of wood and come back. So it's like somebody's running your machine, kind of. Also, this machine has the electric start. That's not that big of a deal. The Honda engine that was on our old machine was easy to start, and I'm sure if you had to pull start this one, it'd probably be just as easy. It wouldn't be bad at all. But it is a nice feature to have, you know, just to come out here and turn the key and fire it up. Also, something else I didn't need, I never had a problem with my oil getting too hot in the 916, but I just thought it'd be cool to have the oil cooler. Who knows, at some point I may, you know, go out and split wood for other people, and they might have a bunch of stuff and they're like, hey, how much can you split in 8 hours? And if I do run this machine for 8 hours, I'm not going to have to worry about anything getting warm or the oil getting too hot because of this oil cooler. So it just allows me room to expand if I decide to do that. The 916, like I say, I've run it in 95-degree days, and I've never seen the oil temperature get above 120 degrees. But I only run about 4 hours or so. I don't know if it could get hotter than that, you know, if you continued to run it and maybe went 8 hours with it. But I never had any problems with going over 120. And the way you keep a check on that is EastonMade puts that feature right into their machine. You've got your tank level so you can see how much hydraulic fluid is in here. Plus it has a thermometer on here to where it tells you what your temperature of your oil is. So that's how I always kept a check on it, and that's why I know that, you know, I never had any problems with it getting hot or overheated or anything. So I've seen box wedges run before with the EastonMade, and I just never realized how beefy this setup actually is. So I'm not used to having this arm and stuff here, and you know, the pullback arm. But I was worried, you know, I was like, well, how heavy duty is this? This thing is heavy duty steel right here. It's got tubing all the way around this, plus it's got this big steel right here with the EastonMade logo, but that just adds a ton of reinforcement to this arm. I don't know that it would even need it though, because it's even got This is actually a tube all the way across right here. So this is really stout steel and really stout arm. You're never going to have to worry about a piece being too big or putting too much stress on that to pull back. Something else that is a change from my 916 to this is that they put this serrated ridges on here on the log lift, where mine just had smooth steel on it. I did have a problem every once in a while where logs would tend to want to try to slide a little bit. So this will probably eliminate that with having these teeth to be able to grab those pieces of firewood, and it'll keep it from slipping around. So another thing that is different from my 916, and this is a change that EastonMade made a few years ago, and that is the going to the Vanguard engines. This is Briggs commercial grade engine, and I don't have any problems with this. Like, as far as, like, you know, I had a Honda and now I have this, and I would not have any reservations, because I know that EastonMade's not going to put an inferior engine on their product. So another thing on this, it does have the bigger hydraulic pump. So that's what a big difference is with the 916 to go into the 1222. The 916 is a 16 gallon per minute pump. The 1222 has a 22 gallon per minute pump. That allows for the same tonnage. It's 24 tons, but it allows for a really fast 5-second or just under 5-second cycle time. So like I was saying, that's some of the differences and some of the reasons why that, you know, I wanted to move up to the 1222. Mainly the box wedge, which you can do that on a 916 also. Like I say, it's the same tonnage, but I thought, you know, the auto cycle, you can do that on a 916 too. But it kind of all comes standard on a 1222, and by the time you add it to the 916, you're really pushing the price of a 1222, but then you still have the slower cycle time of the 916. So that's why I decided to go ahead and go this route. So now that we've run through all that, let's go ahead and run this machine just a little bit. I'm super excited about this because this is actually my first time of running this machine and my first time running a box wedge. So I get to share that with you. Guys, first impressions of running this machine. You can see I can't stop smiling. You know, my first, why did I wait so long to buy it? Originally whenever I bought the 916, that was what was in my budget, and I had to go that route. I wanted a good commercial splitter, something that was really going to save me a lot of time from a box store splitter, and I could split quite a lot of firewood in a short period of time. But, as I've gone, I've seen that I've kind of wanted those other features, and now that I have them, holy cow. Once you put that piece of wood on that box wedge, you don't have to fool with it anymore. You're not rolling them around, you're not dragging it back, it does it for you. And if you notice on my 916 videos, I've got a hookaroon or a pickaroon, a lot of people call it, but I always have to, you know, split them off, and then you'll see me reach up there and grab it and slide it back. You know, I'm all the time pulling those back and re-splitting them. The machine does it for you with the box wedge. So like I say, I mean, a 916 with a box wedge would be very, you know, pretty much the same thing, just a little bit slower. But man, I got so much firewood right there in just a couple of minutes, and I don't have my trailer at the end of the conveyor, is why I'm not running the conveyor right now. But I can see that that's going to keep the conveyor busy. Also, the box wedge, you know, even though that is for boiler wood, you can bring them down to a pretty narrow piece, and you know, they don't have to be ginormous pieces through that. But you can see the consistency. I would try to do this with the 4-way, and it would run the pieces, you know, through the 4-way out the bottom, and that was always my consistent pieces that I wanted to get. Where this, it doesn't matter. Like, you're always going to get those middle pieces pretty much the same size. And depending on the size of your wood, you know, whether you're going to get, you know, the outsides could be a little bit smaller, something like this, which is okay too, because that gives you a variation of wood sizes to be able to burn. And if I do decide to sell some, then I have, you know, plenties of this stuff based on the size of wood that I'm splitting. So it's not that big of a deal to kind of hold these out, or to stack it separate from my boiler wood, and just kind of keep this stuff to the side and keep my boiler wood that I'm going to burn myself, you know, in my stack. So I believe this really is going to be the perfect machine for what I want. Now again, I'm not producing wood commercially, and you know, I'm not selling firewood other than I have one person that I sell to each year. But aside from that, you know, I mean, I just do it for myself. And this is probably overkill for what a homeowner actually needs. But where we burn wood to heat our home, we do burn quite a bit because we heat the whole house with it, and we heat our hot water and everything. And this really saves on your back. You've got the log lift to really bring those big pieces up there. And then once they get up here, the box wedge, you don't have to worry about it. I'm really curious of those really nasty pieces, if the box wedge will still run that kind of stuff through there. But if it don't, I have one of the tall 4-ways to be able to put on here, and I can, if I get some of that really nasty, ginormous stuff, then I can switch that wedge out and have that tall 4-way on there and still make short work of it. But I got a feeling that this box wedge is going to be on here 98% of the time, probably. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button. Follow along for all of our EastonMade 1222 videos, and also go back and watch the 916 so you can kind of compare the 916 versus the 1222. And maybe it'll help you in deciding, you know, which one that you want or which one would be enough machine for you. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you outdoors.